You know, our roads are basically the arteries of our economy. But let's be honest, they're under constant strain. There are always more repairs needed than there is money in the bank, which leaves public works departments with some really tough choices. So how do they actually decide which roads get fixed and which ones have to wait? Well, the answer isn't about guesswork or politics anymore. It's about data. It's about figuring out how to make every single rupee count.
Okay, just imagine this for a second. You're in charge. You've got a budget of 1,000 crores rupees. But your engineers come to you and say, "Boss, we need 10,000 crores worth of repairs, like right now. You've got potholes, you've got cracks, you have entire sections just crumbling away. So where do you even start? The busiest road, the one that looks the absolute worst, the one leading to the state capital? It feels like an impossible puzzle, right? But believe it or not, there's a surprisingly logical way to solve it.
And here's the secret. The answer isn't just about engineering. It's about economics. To make the smartest choice, we first have to get our heads around a simple fact. A bad road doesn't just annoy you. It's actively costing all of us money. This is the economic engine that drives every single decision from here on out. The core idea here is something called road user effects, or RUE for short. Think of it as the hidden price tag of a bad road. And listen, this isn't some government expense we're talking about. This is real money coming directly out of the pockets of every person and every business that uses that road every single day. So what makes up these road user effects? Well, it breaks down into four key things. First up, you've got vehicle operating costs. That's the extra fuel you burn, your tires wearing out faster, and all that extra maintenance. Then there's travel time costs, because delays cost money, right? Whether it's you trying to get to work or a truck full of goods trying to get to the market. Then, of course, you have accident costs, which, tragically, are always higher on poorly maintained roads. And finally, we even factor in non-motorized transport costs. Yep, even cyclists and bullock carts are affected.
Let's just be crystal clear on this. A rough, potholed road makes your car's engine work much harder, which means it burns more fuel. Simple as that. Your tires, they get chewed up way faster. And all those constant vibrations and shocks, they lead to more wear and tear on your car's suspension, its parts, everything. These aren't just abstract ideas. This is actual money coming right out of your wallet.
Okay, so we understand these costs, but how do we go from just knowing about them to actually building a plan of action? Well, this is where it gets really cool. This is where big data and some seriously powerful tools come into play to create a blueprint.
Yeah, this isn't guesswork. Planners use this incredibly sophisticated software that basically acts like a digital brain for the entire road network. The gold standard for this is a model called HDM-4. And what's really important is that it's not just some generic software. It's built on decades of research, including major studies done right here in India, so it really understands our unique roads and our unique traffic. Now, for this digital brain to work its magic, it needs to be fed data, and I mean a lot of data. It needs to know the exact condition of every road, how rough it is, how many cracks it has. It needs the road's geometry, its width, its curves, how steep the hills are. It needs to know what kind of vehicles are on it, the mix of cars, buses, and all sorts of trucks, and exactly how many. And crucially, it needs local unit costs. What's the price of petrol in that district? How much does a new tire cost? What's the hourly rate for a mechanic? All of it goes in. The real power of this system is that it can practically see the future. It takes all that data and runs thousands of simulations. It forecasts exactly how a road is going to get worse over time, and it calculates the total cost to you, the user, for every single year over the next 20 or 30 years. It's a complete life cycle analysis. Now, the very first thing this model spits out is something called an unconstrained works program. What is that? Basically, it's the perfect plan. The absolute ideal schedule of repairs for the entire network if you had an unlimited budget. It tells you the exact right moment to fix every single road to keep user costs as low as possible. It is quite literally an engineer's dream. But of course, nobody has an unlimited budget. So this brings us to the most important part, the reality check. How do we take this perfect dream plan and make it work with the actual money we have in the bank? So on one hand, you've got the ideal plan, where we fix everything at the perfect moment based purely on engineering and economics. And on the other hand, you have reality. A fixed, limited budget each year. A world where scarce resources have to be carefully allocated. This is the gap we absolutely have to bridge. And this brings us right back to the 1,000-crore question, doesn't it? With our limited budget, which projects from that perfect wish list should be actually fun this year? And what about next year? How do we make sure we are squeezing the absolute maximum value, the maximum economic benefit out of every single rupee?
The solution is a really clever method called incremental benefit cost ranking. Now don't worry about the fancy name. The idea is actually very simple. For every single possible repair project, the system asks a question. For every 1 rupee we spend on this, how many rupees does the public get back in savings on fuel, tires, and time? It then creates a ranked list of projects, basically from the best bang for your buck to the worst.
And this is where it all comes together. The planners literally just plug in the actual real-world budget they have for each year. Then, with pretty much a single click, the software runs an optimization. It takes that ranked list of projects and picks the top ones that it can afford to do within that year's budget. It's that smart.
So what comes out on the other side of all this number crunching? Well, it's not just a list. It's a fully optimized strategic plan that truly makes the most of every single rupee.
And the final output looks something like this. Now, notice a couple of things here. See the projects with the highest benefit/cost ratio, like this one on NH44 with a ratio of 8.2. That means for every 1 rupee spent, the public gets back 8 rupees and 20 paise in benefits. That's a fantastic return. So it gets scheduled first in 2026. The system automatically allocates the work across multiple years, making sure the budget for each year is never crossed. Some projects might get pushed to a later year, but that decision is based on pure, cold, hard economic logic.
So the most important point to remember is this. This is not just some random to-do list. It's a dynamic, multi-year strategy. It guarantees that the limited money we have is being spent where it will have the biggest positive impact on the economy and on the daily lives of all of us who use the roads. It's about being proactive, not just reacting to the latest problem.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. What does all of this really mean for the future of our roads and for our country?
It means that we're finally moving away from making these huge decisions based on gut feelings or political pressure. We're moving towards a data-driven science. We're taking all this complex, messy data about traffic and road conditions and economics, and we're turning it into clear, defendable, and incredibly impactful investment decisions. It's all about spending smarter, not just spending more.
And that leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? We've just seen how this data-driven approach can get us better roads for less money. So if we can apply this logic to our road networks, what's next? Our water supply systems? Public health care? The power grid? This isn't just about fixing potholes anymore. It's a blueprint for building a much smarter future for everyone.